Hey guys, it's ExandShadow, and welcome back to Let's Play Devil Survivor Overclocked. In the last part, we found out that demons pop out of our video games. Yeah, and in this part, we're going to try to find Naoya, although it looks like he's already flew the coop. Well,
I suppose so. It looks like he hasn't been to his apartment for quite a while.
frack. Now what? So, email. Are you unsatisfied with your penis size? Oh, no, wait, sorry. It's Naoya. Oh, okay. So, Aoyama Cemetery. I think I heard something about that before. Nah. Not that important, I'm sure. So anyway, this admin email here, you'll be getting occasionally throughout the beginning of the game, because that's basically where you'll be getting like your tutorial stuff. But for the most part, most of your emails will be either at the end of a day or a Laplace mail at the beginning of the day. For the most part, unlike right now, you aren't going to be getting emails throughout the majority of normal days. It's just because this is the day before, they still have to establish a couple of things. So yeah, looks like we're demon trainers, huh? We've gotta use them to be the very best? Like, nah, that's just silly. You know, to catch them isn't our quest, to train them isn't our cause. We just want to get out of here. I mean, Jesus, it's just like demons and stuff. That's just weird, man.
Now be summoned from the comps, and they'll be our allies?
Yeah, that's what demon summoning means, Yuzu. That's why it's called the demon summoning program.
Something called teams got added to the comp menu.
I don't think you can actually enter teams into the teams menu until after this event happens, though. So don't worry too much about that until after this event. I'll be showing off how the teams menu works in a minute. Although for the first couple of days, there isn't really a whole lot you can do with the teams menu. The teams menu is really more important for establishing your setup once you got like a lot of different moves and demons that you can use. But for the most part, in this beginning section of the game, it's kind of redundant. But hey, I'll show off how it works anyway.
Yeah,
it did say person, but it also could be a person with demons. You know, influence your actions is such a vague term. It's just like, like an important person, like a government official, could influence my actions, but a hobo could also influence my actions. You know, it's just like, does Naoya think that he can be as vague as he wants and will still do what he says? I mean, Jesus, man, you can't be all cryptic mentory and not expect us to go behind your back or do exactly what you tell us not to do. I mean, that's just how this shit works, you know? So yeah, explaining magic to Yuzu would be too much of a hassle, so instead of explaining how it works to her, we're just going to give her a spell and she'll just use it automatically. Anyway, this is the teams menu, which I probably won't be showing off very often after this section. But basically here you can establish the setup of your skills and of your demons. So right now I don't have a whole lot of skills to move around, but I could move around the demons so that the kobolds in Atsuro's party, for example. We only have a limited number of skills, and the only person who can equip the one skill that I have to equip is Atsuro. He can equip Leader Soul. How equipping skills work is that once we get more skills, and we'll figure out how to get more skills in the second day, well, the first day, I should say. This is the day before. This is day -1. But once you get more skills, basically your stats have to line up in order for you to be able to unlock it. So let's say the ice spell, which is Bufu. This isn't the exact requirements, I'm just pulling it out of my ass, but let's say you need to have 6 magic in order to equip the Bufu spell onto a character. If that character has 5 magic or less, then you can't equip it, but if you've got 6 magic or more, you can equip Bufu onto them. Now, that's not the only, requirement. Sometimes you'll need a certain amount of strength and vitality, or magic and agility, or a number of combinations between the two of them. But that's why it's important when you're leveling up your main character, even if you're not focusing in all of those other areas, like if you're doing a magic focus build, it's still important for you to put a few points into strength and vitality and agility every once in a while, just so that you can have a more wide, well-rounded set of skills. And oh, Jesus, that dude got punched to death. That's just, ow, man, that just looked painful. And no, looks like you could say that his puts on sunglasses. Number was up. Yeah! I'm sorry, I just had to. So, oh, priestess. That's a fun. What the heck is on your head? Is that what is that? Is that feathers or is your hair? I don't know. I do like the character designs in this game, although some of them are kind of ridiculous. Like Yuzu's boobs are probably big enough to have their own gravitational field and stuff like that. And if you look at the priestess there, she has a little like piece of cloth between her hands that actually goes in between her legs. So I have no idea how you're supposed to walk with that shit going on. So here we have basically our first real fight in the game. So it's still pretty firmly in tutorial land, and it's easy enough that you probably won't lose. But you know, it's basically telling us how we actually should work a fight in Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor Overclocked, or just Devil Survivor, I probably should say. Anyway, here's how the setup works for a fight, and I'm going to be cutting out most of this stuff for future battles, because really the deciding what people to go where, what moves to give to them, etc. That's not too interesting, and sometimes the setup process can take like a good 10-15 minutes if you're really trying to you know, set up your pieces well and prepare for stuff that's about to come ahead. So after this fight, I'm going to be cutting out most of this pre-battle stuff, but basically, there's a couple of things that you need to do before you get to a battle. The most important thing to do is to position all of your characters that you want to put on the field. In this case, we're required to put out Atsuro and Yuzu, although in a lot of other battles, you could just send out the main character if you wanted to. The position you put on them is in one of those 4 dots that we had at the very beginning, like those 4 blue squares. Sometimes you get more available positions, and they're not always in a box like that. But you can put your characters in any of those boxes, and you're going to want to set them up so that the characters with the correct spells have an advantage, or things like that. You should also take care to note the movement speeds of your characters, because here the main character and Atsuro have 4 movements, so they can move 4 spaces on their every given turn. But Yuzu only has 3. So keep in mind, especially where you're going to place Yuzu for the majority of the game, I'd say, because Yuzu is very hard to level up, especially in these beginning sections. We don't have an awful lot of skills at this point, so Yuzu, and being the magic focused character, isn't going to be killing an awful lot of people. You might want to consider swapping her Dia with Atsuro's Zio, so that she can use at least some sort of elemental attack, but for the time being, I just stick with the standard spell slots that they give us. So she has Dia, and she also has the Pixie, which also has Dia. You might want to consider swapping up the Pixie with the Kabusu. I think is the demon with Atsuro. So yes, this is basically how a fight works in Devil Survivor. You send your characters over to move them next to the demon you want to fight, and then you beat it up like this. Demons are located on the sides of you, so you've got one demon on your left, one demon on the right. You, the main character, or any of your party members are in the middle. This is a similar way to how the demons are set up. They'll be in groups of 2 or 3 later on in the game, and actually in this fight as well. It's just that guy, well, not just that guy, but that guy was by himself, but occasionally there will be another demon on both of his sides, and by the end of the game there will always be groups of 3. Demon teams will always have groups of 3 in them. The thing about demon groups is that when the demons are on their side, so if you've got a demon in the middle and he's got teammates on his sides, attacks towards the demon are weakened. Attacks towards the center demon are weakened, I should say. It's to your advantage to take out the flanking demons in order to get more of an well, in order to make it easier to kill a center one, I should say. However, if you kill the center demon as fast as you can, you don't have to deal with any of the side demons, too. The thing is that if you only kill the center demon and you leave the flanking demons open, you don't kill those, the experience and money that you get from them is cut in half, so Just for the sake of leveling up quicker, you're going to want to try to take out the flanking demons before you kill the middle demon. And sometimes you mess up, sometimes, you know, an attack misses or whatever, and you can't do it. And it's not too big of an idea, it's not too big of a problem if that happens every once in a while, but if you only kill the center demon in every single fight you have, you're going to be setting yourself up for a lot of grinding later on. Like here, with this ogre and pixie. The ogre on the left, as long as that thing's still alive, it's going to be harder to kill the pixie. But if you kill the pixie before dealing with the ogre, then you don't have the, the fight will just end and that guy will be off the map. So sometimes it's to your advantage to just ignore the flanking sides, but most of the time you're going to want to take care of the flanks before you take out the middle demon. You probably have noticed a thing saying extra turn popping up every now and again. That's a gameplay mechanic that's sort of a trademark of Shin Megami Tensei, I'd say, where your super effective moves, or hitting an opponent's weakness, I should probably say, means more than just doing extra damage. You know, in a lot of other games they have elemental weaknesses, but you know, it's just a matter of getting a little bit of extra damage. Not in Shin Megami Tensei. In Shin Megami Tensei, dealing a critical hit or hitting an elemental weakness will also give you an extra turn every now and again, and an extra turn gives you another round where you can wail on the enemies. Getting a critical hit also does this, and the thing is that sometimes landing critical strikes or hitting an elemental weakness will also take away their extra turns. You gotta be careful though, because if they hit you with one of your elemental weaknesses, or if they get a critical hit on you, they could get a new extra turn. So there's a whole big give and take balance aspect to this mechanic that I really like, because it gives, not only does it give you an awful lot of power in that if you're good with your elemental strikes, you can basically one-shot entire teams with this mechanic. The thing is, however, it's just as dangerous to you as it is against your enemies. So, you know, if an enemy hits you with an elemental attack that one of your demons is weak to, they'll get an extra turn and they can just wail on you. And if they get a critical hit on you, not only will they get an extra turn, your extra turn will go away, so you can't even counter that. So it's a very balanced, very fair system that adds a nice spot of, I think, excitement to these sort of slow-paced tactical battles, because, you know, as soon as you get an extra turn, you know, you're just like super pumped, but if you get your extra turn taken away, you're like, oh shit, and that just adds a lot of the excitement necessary to making these battles engaging, because a lot of the time, you know, tactical RPGs do have a tendency to get a little bit dry, I would say. Not that they're boring necessarily, but fights can go on for quite a while, and it's hard to keep the excitement level up for that entire, you know, sometimes hour-long ordeal. You know, it's just like, I can't tell you how many times I've sat through a Fire Emblem battle, you know, bored out of my wits, because it's the third time in a row I've lost a character 30 minutes in, and I'm just restarting over and over, you know. If they, I'm not saying that Fire Emblem needs to be like Devil Survivor. I like that in this for different reasons, but, you know, Devil Survivor, with these sort of turn-based mini battles in the middle of the bigger tactical field, it gives a nice amount of variety to the experience that helps keep it from getting boring. It also helps that fights in Devil Survivor tend not to run longer than like 15 minutes if you're tends not to run longer than 15 minutes if you're doing a normal battle, and it's really only major boss encounters that tend to run longer than that. That helps quite a lot too. But for the most part, this battle, you know, almost every single enemy here is weak to fire, so your main character is probably going to get a lot of experience. You are definitely going to want to make sure that you spread out the experience here, because it's very easy for Yuzu to fall behind in these first few days. And here, Atsuro's already a level ahead, I'm pretty sure. Well, he's pretty far ahead at the very least, so you're going to want to make sure that all the characters get at least a semi-decent share of the experience here. It's just, you want to keep yourself from grinding later on in the game is the most important thing, so getting any leg up at the beginning helps quite a bit. So, fuck, a guy died. That sucks.
Attack that person in the apartment. It was a demon, wasn't it?
Is there an option to say no shit?
Yeah.
No.
That's what I thought.
Oh well. And I forget what they said, what happens if you say it could have been an animal. I think they say, like, yeah, it could have, but dude, come on, seriously, it's a demon. I mean, yeah, at that point, how could you deny that?
About the demons way before we got our comps.
Oh yeah, that's Shaman Kai people. They're kind of shifty, I suppose, you know. They got those weird did I ever tell you how bright and obnoxious those orange robes were? Superheroes. You see, that's the sort of dialogue option that makes me love the Devil Survivor main character. He's just such a goofball. I love it. But yeah, if they are superheroes, they really need to work on their uniform. That orange robe is just tacky, man.
I wonder too. She seemed really strong, and I got this feeling from her.
What kind of feeling? Don't answer that. Actually, maybe answer that. What sort of feelings do you have about her, Yuzu? I mean, fuck. Blackout.
What's going on?
Thank you, Blackout, for hiding. Never mind. But the blackout, yeah, the blackout happened, as they said it would happen in the email. Looks like that email is pretty damn accurate in predicting the future, guys. I wonder if this is gonna be a gameplay mechanic later on. Just spoiler warning, it is. And fuck, our phone's gone too. Well, that sucks. No food, no cell phone service, no lights, no jacket. Well, Atsura's wearing a hoodie, which is kind of an odd fashion choice for summer. But Yuzu's probably going to be pretty freezing cold in the middle of the night. But yeah, blackout. That sucks. I can't even play video games. No internet access.
So you're all safe.
Ow. Hi there. So yeah, what exactly is that thing supposed to be on her head? Is that like did like a bird die in there, or did she cover it with hair gel first? Or I'm confused. So I think did she introduce herself as Amane Kazuru yet? Well, if she didn't, that's her name, Amane Kazuru. Now a funny piece of trivia: Kazuru in Shin Megami Tensei 2 is some sort of major plot point. I think it's the thing that they use to try to commit genocide in that game. So yeah, that if you needed any hint that this character was going to be important later on, Shin Megami Tensei fans in Japan basically got that from there. Not that she's going to commit genocide or anything, no, that would just be silly. But yeah, she's just gonna leave? Okay. You know, I would have liked some exposition. No, fine. I guess your barrier will work, although I bet it's just like a circle drawn with crayon and some spices or something. Whatever, we'll just sleep out in this haunted graveyard. If that Ghosts and Goblins music starts playing, I swear to God, I'm just gonna leave. So yeah, we've decided that if a demon comes, we are going to just run. Although, don't ever worry about anything happening at night. It's just basically the end of the day. You know, you don't need to worry about demons attacking or anything like that. It's just they're just being cautious, which makes sense considering the situation they're in. So anyway, at the end of every given Devil Survivor day, you'll be getting a whole lot of emails from the different characters you meet. Like here you get an email from Naoya, and we also get an email from Atsuro, or Atlo, which is his handle there. Don't worry, as we meet more characters, we'll be getting more emails from them too, and you will occasionally be able to respond, and those responses are sometimes actually important to unlocking certain events, so I'll make sure to point those out when we get to that point. But anyway, next time we're going to figure out what's going on with that blackout. I'm ExandShadow, and I'll see you guys later.